Happy New Year to all ye faithful. 2026 has arrived. The most wonderful time of the year has came and went. The new year will bring one thing, only one, that every single franchise wished for, and it's a guarantee they got. A clean slate. 2026 has officially started. The season is yet to be underway, but as of right now, everyone in Major League Baseball has the same exact chance. But stick with us as we attempt to uphold our resolutions, or at least the ones we didn't cross our fingers while telling others about. Baseball in 2026 will have a deeper meaning than in 2025. The World Baseball Classic, the end of the current CBA, and what that brings. We don't know. You don't know. And most importantly, MLB does not know. And one last thing that this year brings. Jazz Chisholm getting engaged to an OnlyFans model and trying to troll people who talk about it on X. So, Jazz, you just keep being you. Just keep being you, and eventually you're going to fall into obscurity in the weirdest kind of way. Anyway, it's time for us to kick back, crack a few open, shout us from the rooftops. Please, we want you to shout us from the rooftops that you are watching or listening to Drunks in the Pond. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. And most importantly, Happy New Year. Stay drunk.
Cheers, brother. Drinking water tonight to keep myself hydrated. That's one of the things I promised myself that I would do better in 2026 was drinking more water, because it turns out I was a dehydrated in 2025, so we're already kicking that off. Welcome back to the off season, and I would love to sit here and say that it has been a very, very hot stove, but to be honest with you, we're getting the pilot light every once in a while, and then it's shutting off. Like, we get a couple moves here and there, which is like, oh yeah, this is kicking it. And then that's it. Like it feels like we get maybe one big move a week. And then we're sitting here waiting for the next domino to fall. It's honestly tragic at this point. But that doesn't mean we don't have anything to talk about. We most certainly do. I mean, I think personally, it's only fair that we talk about the two Japanese players that have recently signed. I don't think Murakami signed before the last episode. I think that was literally just days after.
It was after. I think it might have been the next day, honestly.
Yeah, so Murakami, if you don't know, Murakami went to the White Sox, and just yesterday, Imai went to the Houston Astros, which I was kind of caught off guard, not by Murakami, because it kind of felt like towards the end, it was pretty much like the White Sox are highly interested, and we really didn't hear about anybody else. And then within hours, he was officially signed. And I think that's a fair point to start, because that's where we started last episode, was with Murakami. So it's only right that, we give him his time. And I think he signed for what? 3 years.
54.
Yeah, 3 years for 54. Not bad at all. I thought he was going to get much less.
This is it's filled with incentives and opt-outs. So I believe he has an opt-out for every single season. I think that was part of it due to the fact of the potential lockout. So you can opt out.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So, yeah, I mean, it's plenty fair. He's still super young. He's 27. That's young for a free agent.
Yeah, I mean, and I think when it boils down to it, and we talked about it a little bit in the last episode of, places that would be a good fit. And I think we both came to the conclusion that, like, he is just not ready for a big market team yet. And it's kind of weird to say that.
He has the attitude for it. Maybe not the stuff.
It's weird to say he's not ready for like a big market team when he still went to Chicago. Like, we're not talking about like Colorado. Like, we're talking about a team that's literally in Chicago, but you would think that this
Top five
team
city.
was in like the middle of nowhere. And it's crazy to me because someone on Twitter pulled it up today. Even after signing Murakami, they are still paying less to their players than the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I'm just like,
Which is
holy
crazy.
shit, dude. Like, Chris Getz is not paying he's not paying anybody, which is insane to think about because Murakami's the kind of move that you make and you're like, okay, like there's got to be other moves to be made, right? And since then, it just feels like it was quiet. And then the day before Tatsuya Imai signed, the White Sox were coming back up again. It was like, okay, well, if they get Imai, like who knows what happens? Then he goes to Houston, and it was like, okay, like were the White Sox really in on it, or was this just to get the price up? And it's hard to say because we haven't gotten enough information about it. But like the White Sox still have a couple moves to be made, and this shouldn't just be like well, here's your one guy for the year, like Merry Christmas, and then that's it.
Right.
Like this should be something that you're like, okay, we got this guy. Now we want to add a couple more pieces and we want to start pushing the train forward a little bit. This just kind of feels like the move that you make just to get the fans to be like, oh, well, okay. Like we did something, I guess. I mean, like I said, it's a great move. I'm happy the White Sox got him, but this needs to be a stepping stone to more moves. This can't just be a one and done thing.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, which is why they sent a non-roster invite to Jared Kelnick. So they're on the up and up in Chicago, man. I don't know why you're really complaining that much. They're they're doing something. I mean, Andrew Benintendi's still their number one paid player. So yeah, that's all signs are pointing towards not sitting in the basements come the second week of the season for the rest of the season.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know about that. 'Cause seems like everyone else in the AL Central is still good. I don't think the
Not the
Royals are
Twins.
going to be. I don't know. As long as the Twins have Joe Ryan and a couple pieces here and there,
And
like,
one of my favorites that most people don't talk about, Big Over,
oh my God.
dude. He's got stuff, man. He's got stuff. He just needs to piece it together. I don't want to hear it.
If I had $1 for everybody on the Twins that just had to piece it together, I would actually have $2. One being from Ober and the other being from Royce Lewis.
No. Royce Lewis doesn't need to piece it together. Royce Lewis needs to pick up all the pieces of his body that fell on the floor and then just reattach them.
Yeah, which is pretty much piecing it.
Yeah, but it's a different because no. You can't say that's piecing it together for him because when he's healthy, he's elite.
But how often is he fully healthy?
It literally was like a 3 week stretch in his
Like
career.
it's insane to say that the Twins somehow got the second coming of Byron Buxton. Like they got Byron Buxton and they were like, hell yeah. Like when he's healthy, elite. When is he healthy? They're like 4 months of the year, if that. And then they got Royce Lewis and
That's
they're like,
not
here he
including
is.
that's not including season. He's just healthy
Yeah.
4 months of the year. It's not including during the season.
And it always feels like it comes when Byron Buxton's like heating up too. They're like, Buxton in his last 3 games, he's 11 for 15, tearing the cover off the ball. First inning, Byron Buxton just like twists his knee wrong, gets hit by a pitch, and all of a sudden it's like, well, Byron Buxton's out for 3 months. You're like, well, it's only a matter of time, I guess.
Was water wet?
Yeah,
No.
and it's a shame that
Byron
Royce.
Buxton Byron Buxton has an incredible April every year. And then his body is like, hey, how you doing? I fully agree, though. That is a 1-2 punch if healthy. Top 5 duo in baseball. But I think they've been healthy for a total of a week and a half together.
If that. Like, it's a shame because the Twins could be a better team, but the amount of injuries they face, and I mean, it's crazy that last year around the deadline, we were getting like Joe Ryan trade talks, and it was like, okay, it's like, it's probably the best thing to do. Like, the Twins, you're not going to beat out the Tigers. You're probably not going to beat out the Guardians, and the Royals
Barely
are on
beating
the
the White
up.
Sox.
So, yeah, so like trading Joe Ryan's probably the best thing that you can do. And obviously, Boston was interested, but Boston wasn't offering what the Twins wanted. Big shocker there that Craig Breslow was being a cheap ass. Couldn't get him. But, I mean, in terms of Boston, not to completely switch over, but I did hear today that Boston has made an aggressive offer back to Alex Bregman to bring him back. And I was like, well, what do we consider an aggressive offer? Like, are
For
we
what
thinking?
his, I don't know what his camp wants, dude. I really don't.
It sounds like what he wants is a 6-year deal somewhere. I'm assuming somewhere in like the high hundreds, maybe touching two, and maybe no opt outs. Like, I think since he thinks that this is his last contract he's probably ever going to get, he wants this to be like the spot where it ends. And from what it sounded like a while ago is that, you know, Boston was only willing to take it to 5 years, and the Diamondbacks were adding another year in to make it 6. There were a couple of other teams interested that were in the 5-6 year range, and now all of a sudden you get the report that Boston made an aggressive offer. So I'm assuming that they put the extra year in. Not sure if they added money, but I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah, it's tough.
it's insane that we got Dylan Cease signed within what, a week, a day of free agency opening, and we were like, oh,
Yeah,
like I guess this is going to just go, and it has been dead silent for the top guy. Kyle, I haven't heard a word about Kyle Tucker since free agency has started, and I'm not sure if he's still looking for that $400-500 million contract, but the longer this goes, he ain't getting that. Like, I don't know where he
no.
sits on what he's asking, but man,
I'm wondering if we get to that point where it's not even a holdout. It's just you remain unsigned until 2 weeks before spring training. Number one, you're not even an afterthought for the Team USA team at this point because where the hell do you fit in? Also, on top of that, good luck even being considered for that when you're going to have to go to a whole new team, a franchise. Because as far as I've heard, the Cubs are out. I'm guessing that he's not going to get that double digit year. He's not going to get a 7. I think he's probably going to get like a 3, maybe a 4-year deal, maybe 115, 120. Which, I mean, another guy when healthy, incredible. But for the past couple of years that he's in the league, how healthy are you, dude? Are you worth that? Are you worth that mortgage on the stadium? I don't know, man. It's tough.
so from what I'm reading right now is on Twitter, what everyone's saying is that the Blue Jays are the favorite to sign Kyle Tucker, which is fine. I feel like that's been the heavy link for the
Sure.
past couple weeks, maybe to a month. But like, how, like, what are we talking here? Like, what is Kyle Tucker asking for? What is the price? Because I feel like this has just gone on for a little too long at this point. And mind you, Bo Bichette's still sitting out there as well. And like, Bo Bichette was even like, I'm willing to play second. Like, I'm not just a shortstop. Mind you, Bo Bichette was also the worst defensive shortstop in all of baseball last year. So like,
It's not
yeah,
straight to
for the sake of you and getting money, like, yeah, having a backup position is probably the best thing for you in this case. But Bo Bichette's still sitting out there. Like, there was rumors that Boston was interested, and the Phillies were probably looking at him, and there were other teams. And it's like I understand if one team's interested, because then you just throw out all these other teams to just kind of build up interest from that one team to see if you can get the price adjusted. It's the sad part is this all ties back to Scott Boras. Like, all of these guys are Scott Boras clients. Bregman, Ranger Suarez, Bichette, Tucker, all of these guys who were looking for high money, all Scott Boras guys. And someone, once again, posted on Twitter, they were like, there needs to be a deadline for free agent signings. And I was like, I kind of agree. Like, I think by the time you open spring training, if you're not on a team, then I'm not saying you have to sit out the season. No. But there should be some kind of like, okay, like if you sign after this point, like you have to sit for a month because you went past the deadline.
I like where your head's at on this, not a penalization, but more along the lines of there needs to be less of the player dictating contracts. It should be more along the lines of like, hey, if you want to play, this is our terms. This is the contract. 3 years max, X amount max. Call it like a spring deadline contract. Whatever. I'm not creative like that. Call it a spring deadline contract where you sign for 3 years.
No, I think that's fair.
It's a little bit more. I mean, shout out to Shelby. He brought up a very good point when, who was it? Can't remember who it was, but they signed, was it Dolis Garcia who signed for 10 mil?
The Phillies?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 1 year, 10 mil.
Yes. So he said it best. 10 mil is minimum wage. 10 mil is minimum wage in baseball. For 1 year, I mean, once you get to that tenure where you have actual free agency and your actual tenure playing, 10 mil is minimum wage. If you look at arbitration guys, most of them aren't making 10 plus mil a year. You're getting like 7.5 and shit like that. You got the other guys you got a few anomalies who were like 17 and shit like that during arbitration. But 10 mil is like 100%. It is the best description of minimum wage in baseball. Yes, we understand there is a minimum salary, but that's not meant for the people who put in the time and have actually served the time. That's why I'm saying 3 years, 35. You get a little bit of extra. That 5 mil can cover your taxes.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't penalize the player and hold him out for games, but I think like contract wise, I'd be like, all right, dude, listen, like if you don't sign by this point, like the max amount of years that you can get is like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
If you want, you can do another 1 year, prove it, just to double down on yourself and be like, listen, like I'm telling you, with these numbers, this is what I'm worth. Like I can do these with this amount of contract. That's fine. If you want to take a prove it deal again, so be it. But if you go on another 1 year deal and be like, all right, dude, I'll show you, and then you suck, you're only hurting yourself. Because then at the end of that season, all of a sudden you have a bad year and you just killed your entire price. Not saying you're not going to make money. You will. But you're not going to make what was previously offered in the previous offseason. So, like, I would definitely say beginning of spring training. I think by spring training, by the time that kicks off and pitchers and catchers start to report, you should have a solid idea of what your team is going to look like. Like, you should have the month of spring training to really finalize everything, figure out, who's going down, who's staying with the team, like how are we setting this up? You shouldn't be 2 weeks into spring training and being like, oh yeah, by the way, we're bringing in Kyle Tucker to play right field. Because now Kyle Tucker has to come in, he has to catch up, which probably means he won't be ready for the regular season because,
We've
who knows if
seen
he's
happen
been
before.
working out. Yeah, like this is something
You
that
should
has
be. You
happened.
should be. If you're not, you're a bag of D's.
Like, who knows what these guys are doing? For all I know, Kyle Tucker could be on a fishing boat right now somewhere catching a tuna. Like the guy could be doing whatever he wants.
A
But
tuna, you say?
like either way, he's going to need a time period to catch up. He's going to have to go do fielding drills again. He's got to get back in the cages. He's got to build a rhythm with his new team. There's a whole lot that goes into it. And with 2 weeks until the regular season kicks off, when these guys have already been at spring training and you're just walking in, it's like, dude, like now this whole situation has to be readjusted because you waited this long to sign. I understand you want your money. That's fine. You're allowed to have a price. But at some point, you have to sit and realize, all right, dude, it's January. I am not getting any offers close to what I want. How do we go about this now? Do I lower my price a little bit? Yeah, dude, you might have to. Do I take some years away and just kind of just bet on myself and, maybe put a couple opt-outs in? That way, if I do exceed expectations, I can be like, you know what, dude, I'm opting out because I think now I'm worth even more money. Sure, no problem. But like I said, I understand that these guys want to get paid, but we're in January. Like, there should be more motion in free agency than just once a week where a guy signs. Like, I think Okamoto's deadline is coming up in the next couple days or so, if it's not tomorrow.
I think it's Monday.
Monday? Okay. So
I think it's Monday at 5.
So either tomorrow or Sunday, he's probably going to sign. Who knows where? Honestly, I would love him to come to the Phillies. And this is more of a thing where we say it all the time. This team is still built like a team that is going to run it back. I'm tired of waiting for Alec Bohm to come around. I like him, don't get me wrong, but Alec Bohm is a very streaky hitter. And his past...
However consistent, though.
He's consistent.
You can't be streaky when your average still ends up at around 280 to 290 every year. You are considered just an average hitter, not as in like you're an average hitter, you hit for average.
So Alec Bohm is consistently streaky. I'll give him that.
All right, I'll accept that. All right, since we're talking about the Phillies, let's do like a couple minute talk about the Phillies right now.
I
Get
mean,
that
listen,
out the way.
I have a lot to say about the Phillies.
I'm sure you do.
God bless anyone who's following me on Twitter because I have been nonstop complaining.
Honestly, I'm glad I don't follow you on Twitter.
Well, because here's my thing. I follow a lot of writers for the Phillies from different kinds of reporters and companies that do articles and whatnot on the team. And the one that keeps coming around is like, well, Ranger Suarez is still a free agent, and I think it's a move that should be made. And I was like, okay, like, fine. If you want to bring back Suarez, I'm not against it. Suarez has proven to be a solid pitcher for this team and has showed up in playoffs constantly. My only thing is this. If you're going to re-sign Suarez, then you need to deal Andrew Painter. Why in the world would you keep him if you're just going to bring back Suarez? What you're showing Andrew Painter is that there is no spot for him on this rotation this year. Now, whatever you do with Jesus Luzardo after this year, who knows? If you just let him walk because he wants a lot of money, fine. But this is another year that Painter's going to sit in the minor leagues. And he's still young, granted, I'll give him that. But how much longer are we going to do this? How much longer is Andrew Painter going to sit here in the minors and just wait? Like, My biggest fear is that with Andrew Painter, this turns out to be another Kyle Drabeck situation where we wait and he's this untouchable prospect and we're like, no, dude, I'm telling you, when he comes up, he's going to be the ace. He's going to be what we need. And then he comes up and it's like, all right, Andrew Painter after a year had like a 4.94 ERA. Like, is this the guy we've been waiting for? You know, we put all our chips in for this. And like, I don't want to be let down by the situation. But, like, how much faith are we putting in Andrew Painter? I think he should fight for this 5th rotation spot this year. I 100% believe that he deserves a chance to fight for this. If you re-sign Suarez, you are taking that chance away. And you are pretty much telling him you need to go back to AAA for the year. Unless, barring injury, you know, we'll see what happens then. But that is not fair to him. And frankly, it does not show the fans that, you know, you're ready to put these kids in. And there was a lot of talk about, you know, bringing Bo Bichette in, which I'm fine with. I like Bo. Bo's a very solid hitter. He could fit well into this lineup. But, and I say but a lot here, if you bring Bo in, you have to realize that Trey Turner is still at shortstop. If you move Trey Turner to second and then put Bo at short, you need to understand that Bo is a defensive liability at shortstop. If you decide, okay, well, Bo's going to play second base, well, here's the thing. Now you need to figure out what you're doing with Bryson Stott. Because now you're taking Stott's...
You got rid of your best defensive edge.
Yeah, now you're taking away Stott's position, so now you have to trade Stott. Okay, so be it. Here's the other thing. Aiden Miller's coming up soon. Within the next couple years, he's going to be playing on this team. So now you have an infield that consists of Trey Turner at short, who would have to move because Aiden Miller's a natural shortstop. And from what I've seen, he has not taken any reps at third base, which I don't know where people got the idea that Aiden Miller was going to step at third and take over for Bohm. But like, Miller's not even playing third in the minors. It's pretty much a guarantee when he comes up, he's your shortstop, which is fine. But if you bring in Bo, what do you do? Because either Turner's going to move to center, which takes the spot away from Justin Crawford, unless you're putting him in left field, which I could see. And then you have a team that with Aiden Miller at short, Bo Bichette at second, Trey Turner in center, Crawford in left, hopefully not Bohm at third, even though it's starting to look like a real possibility. And who the hell knows who the catcher is going to be, because supposedly JT's offended at the contract he's been offered. But it's like, dude, no offense, you did not have that great of a year hitting. So, like,
or help. What?
Yeah, my man, you're starting to get up there a little bit. And I think you need to understand that, like, I think it's more that he understands that there's not a good replacement out there for him. So it's like, listen, dude, like, if you want me to come back, this is what you need to pay me. I'm not coming back for anything less than this. And I know, looking at the list of free agents, that there is no one better. So unless you're going to trade for, I don't know, let's say Adley Rutschman, you're kind of out of luck, which is fair, but it's also putting the Phillies in a very tight bind to overpay for a catcher who's turning, 35, 36 this year? There's a lot that needs to happen
35.
With the Phillies, and with the window only being open for another couple years maybe, it's a very tough spot to be in for Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton.
We're at a weird impasse as a franchise where we, for the past, how many years, Jay? 3, 4 seasons that we've just been extremely left-handed heavy.
Yeah.
And currently, right now, we are linked to Bo Bichette, one of the better right-handed hitters in baseball. Bregman, one of the more consistent right-handed bats in baseball. And we, in my opinion, we need to bring JT back. Not because of, nostalgia or running it back. It's because of how invaluable he is to the pitching staff. So hard to actually put into words when you're not a pitcher what someone like that means to a franchise. This is like going back to Carlos Ruiz, back in those good old days. Chooch was not the best to bat. He had some good days, but what he did for this pitching staff, what, 4, 5 no hitters?
I think he caught 4. 2 from Holiday, 1
One's from
from
Cole.
And then I feel like he caught.
He caught 1 or 2 more.
Did he catch?
Feel like he did.
Did he catch King Felix's perfect game when he tossed it? Because I know he was in Seattle for a little bit, but I don't know if he caught Felix Hernandez's.
I don't know. Let's take a look at the internet.
So Carlos Ruiz caught 4 no-hitters. He caught Roy Halladay's perfect game against the Marlins, Roy Halladay's postseason no-hitter, a combined no-hitter where Cole Hamels threw 6 no-hit, and then Cole Hamels' complete game no-hitter. Did Cole Hamels throw 2 combined no-hitters?
No, 1 was a complete game in Chicago.
Yeah, and then he had a combined. Yep. He had and then he had a combined no-hitter as well. So yeah, he's caught 4 of them.
I mean, JT's caught 2. Lorenzen. All right. We guaranteed 1, but he's also made Zach Wheeler a top 5 pitcher for the past 5 years. He's elevated Luzardo. He made Ranger a coveted pitcher. He's kept Nola relevant with Nola's not mediocre stuff, because Nola's still filthy. I don't care what anyone says. You're not going to find a better 2-seamer in baseball with more movement and more deception at a very mid speed. And he has turned Christopher Sanchez into an absolute ace.
Oh, Christopher Sanchez is your number 1 after this year, because I think Wheeler pretty much said, like, after 26, he's hanging him up, which it's fair. It's well deserved. And I don't think there's any question that Christopher Sanchez is your ace moving forward after this year. Like, he's dominated. And it's crazy to say that we could be looking at a rotation that consists of Sanchez as your ace, Nola as probably your number 2 still, but it's hard to see where the rotate, like, how it pans out now.
It's going to be weird for the next couple years, especially when you have that large contract in Nola. But yet you have Luzardo on the books till 27. So you got all 26, and then you got to figure out what you're going to do with Luzardo. I personally think that so far he's proved that he deserves a nice talk about a contract.
Absolutely.
And then you have that big what if of Painter. I fully agree. As of right now, in my opinion, if you want to compete and have the same style of rotation, that's never been an issue for the Phillies for the past several years. Starting rotation has not been a problem. Re-sign Ranger, get something in return for Painter. Just like the Phillies did when they traded Drabick, who you mentioned, and they got Roy Halladay. Granted, we all know it didn't last very long with Roy, unfortunately. But what we got out of Roy was absolutely worth trading.
%. Yeah, I mean, looking at the Phillies' top prospects right now, in terms of, like, rotation, like, we already talked about Painter. Like, Painter, I think, has at least a 75% chance of being in a rotation. Then your next pitching prospect is Gage Wood, who's got an ETA of 2028, so he's out of the question for now. You got Cade Obermueller, who's still in rookie ball 2028 as well, so he's some time away. You got Moises Chase, who is estimated time of arrival is 2026. Now, depending on what he does, we'll see what happens. Gene Cabrera, and then there's a couple other guys, but I mean, the Phillies have always kind of been a team that goes out and adds to the rotation. It's very rare that
Yeah.
they actually bring a prospect up and they're like, all right, like, here's your guy. Like, they've always been a team that's like, oh yeah, we'll just go out and sign a pitcher. Like, don't worry about it.
The last two that's actually panned out for has been Nola and Fulham.
And when did we bring up Hamilton? It's been
Way
that
too
long.
late. Okay, yeah, that too. For how long ago that was. I was just saying way too late because we brought Hamilton up when he was what, 5?
Well, and to be fair, we are forgetting about another guy that came up to our system and has dominated with being Ranger Suarez. Like, it's very hard to remember sometimes that, like, we didn't trade for Suarez. Like, we signed him when he was young and we were like, all right, dude, like, let's see what you can do. And and now we're sitting here like, damn, dude, like, Ranger Suarez is probably going to sign somewhere else. In this rotation, it's going to be Nola's your homegrown talent. And I don't want to put a savior tag on him, but, like, you're putting a lot of faith in Andrew Painter to step into this rotation. And I'm assuming be your 5 because looking at the pitchers in front of him, it's not like you're going to throw him in the 3 spot behind Nola. Like, you're obviously, I mean, Christ, Nola may be your 3. You may go Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, Luzardo, Painter, which I guess is good because it splits righties, lefties up pretty nicely. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be answered. Looking at the bullpen, I don't think the bullpen looks all that good. You have a couple good pieces in there, but for the most part, like, you signed a couple guys that you're just kind of hoping pan out, like the dude from Arizona, Backhouse or something, Backus.
Yeah.
You got a guy
And then
from Kansas City,
yes.
forget his name, but I mean, I don't know. It's hard to look at the Phillies roster right now and be like, oh yeah, like, this is a team that is going to be competing with the best of the best, even though we were last year. I don't like the idea of running it back. Like, I still look at this team and I'm like, we added Adolis Garcia to right field. We haven't even talked about Castellanos, which is crazy. Like, I felt like David
Because
Dombrowski came
we
out,
have almost what, a week, 2 weeks after the season.
like, I feel like Dave Dombrowski came out very soon after the season, was like, yeah, no, we're either going to trade Castellanos or we're going to release him. Like, I'm not trying to put the shot clock on him, but, like, dude, you said that and it has been silent. Like, are you not getting trade offers? Well, if you're not getting offers, then, what are
Yeah.
you waiting for to cut ties? Like, it's obvious no one's going to take on the $20 million contract. You may just have to eat this one and be like, all right, dude, you know what? Like, yeah, this sucks, but, we kind of put ourselves in this position. I just sit here and wonder, like, I mean, Dave Dombrowski is the same guy that said Harper wasn't elite anymore. And then Harper shows up in the batting cages wearing a shirt that says not elite. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like,
Dude,
now we're pissing off Bryce Harper. Like, cool, dude. Love this.
no, see, I don't look at, I feel like the only way you piss off Bryce Harper is if you mispronounce Acuna's name. Like, dude, like, I don't get the man. I have nothing negative to say about him. I really don't. I just, I feel like I want to know what your direction is of how you want people to perceive you, but also, do you want people to perceive you a certain way? Because we've seen where you're an asshole. I mean, shit, what Hunter Strickland knows it, but also Strickland has made you an asshole. Or Strickland was the asshole. I'm not sure. Regardless, you can't throw a helmet. Sorry, Bryce. But the thing is, who are you? Who do you want us to view you as? Because we think, as collectively, the city thinks of you as a hero. person who shows up, does their job. The perception of that is askew due to the playoffs. But that's for the entire lineup, not just you. But then we see you do all of these cute, fun, cottage core, weird crap of baking banana bread and making coffees like you're a barista. Where is the asshole, Harper? That's a clown question, bro. Like, where is that? There's no edge to you. You are literally an oval. You show up, you haven't gotten tossed in a while. I think last time you got tossed was Angel Hernandez.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I think that's the last time Kyle Schwarber got tossed too.
Because Kyle doesn't need to snap. Bryce needs to literally snap, and on top of that, he needs to just snap at the plate. He is the definition of I need to go off. Kyle's like, Abbott Elementary's here. I'm gonna hit 4 bombs tonight. What up? This is
You
for
always see
this.
the memes. You always see the memes out there of someone being like, you can't just have a whole lineup full of power hitters, and then it's Kyle Schwarber's face, and he's just like, ball go boom.
Yes,
That's what Schwarber reminds me of. But no, I 100% agree with you on the Harper front. You know who he reminds me of? If you've watched the show Ted Lasso, I know a lot of people have,
yes,
but a lot of people haven't.
yes.
Bryce
One of the
Harper
greatest shows
is
ever
our
made.
I agree. Bryce
Sorry.
Harper is our Jamie Tart. Like,
Jamie Tart.
like, and it always comes to my mind of the one scene where like Ted wants him to be more of like a team player. He wants him to pass and do all this. And then Roy comes and talks to him. He's like, you're actually screwing him up. And he's like, what? He's like, he plays best because he's a prick. He is an asshole. He plays well when people don't like him. And it just hit me. I'm like, this is the same thing with Bryce Harper. When Bryce Harper is public enemy number 1, dude, he goes absolutely nuclear. Like, think of the biggest Bryce Harper situations, his biggest moments. There was something before his biggest moments that flipped the switch.
Right.
Like, we can go back to the playoffs against Atlanta in 23 when he got doubled up at first. And then Orlando Arcia made the comments. What happened next game? Bryce Harper, deadpan, 2 home runs. Both times he is staring down Arcia rounding second base. Bryce Harper, when he is the enemy, he goes absolutely nuclear. When people don't like him, he is on fire. Bryce Harper has become too likable that now people actually kind of enjoy him, and there's not that fire. Bryce needs the fire of people not liking him. He needs to feel the heat of people not liking him. He feeds off of it. When he gets the feeling that he can shove it up someone's ass and prove everybody wrong, he is the best player on the planet. There is no one that can touch him. Bryce needs that fuck you energy back, and he needs it. That's all I'm going to say on it. That is the Bryce we need in 2026. He needs to be pissed off. Someone needs to say something, kick him in the ass, light the fire, and we could watch MV3 again.
I can't disagree at all. Like, none of that. None of what you just said is incorrect. When he was coming up and he won MVP for the first time with the Nationals, it's because the season before, people said he wasn't worth the hype. Guess what? Your team president just said you're not elite. I'm cool with you being a dick and wearing a t-shirt that says not elite. I'm cool with that because you know what he didn't do, which makes it just a little bit okay by me. Zero comments about it from him. Just wore it. Worked out, took BP, did his job. The one thing that he needs to do, though, like I said, I'm okay with him not talking about it. I don't need you to comment. I don't need you to act, you know, bitter or angry about it. Tell the public, tell the media that you're pissed off about your performance. Don't tell them you're pissed off about what someone said about you. Tell them you're pissed off about yourself. And you're going to promise so much more. Last time we had a player promise anything publicly was Jimmy Rollins. We're the team to beat. Didn't pan out in '07. What happened the following year? We had some Lay's. We had some Hers. We had some Pringles. You know what those are? Those are chips. We had a chip in this city. Bring another one back by him being a dickhead. That's what this team needs. This city's mantra. First and foremost, Jay and I, it's hard for us to fully admit it. It's a football city. It's an Eagles city. Go Birds, dickhead. Bryce, be the dickhead. That's all I got about Bryce. What do you got, Jay? What do you got about that?
So I'll be honest. I kind of disagree. I don't want Bryce to say anything. I don't want him to go to the media. I don't want him to make a comment about it. I want him laser focused on this. And what I mean by laser focused is I don't want him to give it any attention. If the media comes up to him and asks, shrug him off. Say, I got nothing to say on this situation. Keep that energy to yourself. Don't give it anybody. Don't give it to anything. You keep that energy for yourself. He said that to you, not the team, not any pitcher. He said that to you. He said that you, Bryce Harper, was no longer elite. You were not MV3 anymore. You were just a first baseman with a good glove. That is your energy. That is what you need to produce in 2026. You need to look at yourself. You look at yourself in the mirror. You can look at yourself on TikTok. Don't care. But you need to look at yourself and go, I cannot believe that this dickhead said that I am no longer elite. So now my job in 2026 is not only prove him wrong, but prove to the city of Philadelphia that I am still damn good at what I do and I am worth every single penny. That is what we need. Don't answer any questions about it. You know yourself better than anybody. I need you to keep that energy. And I hope wholeheartedly that he is not only wearing that on his shirt, but that is sitting in his mind daily. Like, the general manager does not think that you can reach that level again. Like, that you're pretty much just either going to produce the same numbers after 2025 from now on, or you're going to start to slow down and be worse. Plenty of players in this league have had a bad year, and just when we all thought that it was over for them, turned it around immediately. I can think of one player off the top of my head, Dave Parker, the Cobra, Hall of Fame 2025. Yeah. He had one bad year in Pittsburgh where he hit 12 home runs. Out of the ordinary. Dave Parker was like a 20, 30 home run guy. He hit 12 this one year. You know what people probably were saying? I think Dave Parker's lost a step. Know what he did for 2 or 3 years afterwards? Got back in the 20 home run column, hit 30 another year, went back to 20. Just because it looks like it's over does not mean it's over. I am on track for a full 2026 Bryce resurgence, but as we've said plenty of times, he has to find that whole energy. He needs that negative energy again. He's got to feed off of it. That is what I want from Bryce Harper this year. and I know he can do it.
All right. So I am 100% on board with that. Completely take away everything I said about him making comments. I am fully on board with what you just said. So let's change the pace and let's talk about one person that's not going to matter in 2026 for a team that they've been with for 6 years now, and unfortunately is no longer with that team because their contract was officially bought out, and now they are officially a free agent. Some may say the definition of not elite. Anthony Rendon. Congrats. Big, big congrats to the Angels for officially being fed up. This is a team where ownership and management has not been the smartest, been the basically tried and true version of we know what we're doing. They officially have cut ties and bought out the remainder of Anthony Rendon's contract, stating, we're done. We're done. We're not even going to say you're not elite. You're just not a baseball player. Jay, how do you feel about the official buyout and end of his tenure with the Angels?
I'll be honest, I don't think this tenure ever really started.
Facts.
What did he give to the Angels that was anywhere near worth the money he was making? Like, you can sit here and look at his first year and be like, oh, well, like, he had a good first year with the Angels. Like, okay, great. What did he do after that? Oh, well, he was hurt a lot. Okay, what did he do after that? I don't want to hear it. The Angels finally did something right. They bought out Rendon. Rendon's done. He's not an Angel anymore. The Angels pretty much paid him to off. Like, they were like, dude, just go. Like, we actually don't even want you around anymore. Like,
No.
you're a black mark on this team. The faster we get rid of you, I feel like the faster we'll be better. And, good for them. But now that you've gotten rid of Rendon at third, how are you going to make this team better again? Because looking at the roster, and I want to give a quick shout out because we talked about him last year, I want to say, or maybe the first year of Drunks on the Pond. But Joe Adell, I know we talked about it at one point about, whether he was a bust because of his own situation or because he was an Angel. Joe Adell had a very, very quiet but very good year. Like, I don't want to say it was a breakout, but he hit over 30 home runs and he damn near reached 100 RBIs.
37.
Like, on a team that was bad, like, Joe Adell produced pretty well. So did Taylor Ward. I mean, Taylor Ward got moved to the Angels, but like, it was nice to see Joe Adell finally. I'm sorry, not the Orioles. My God, that's bad. That's a bad slip.
However, that would be an Angels move to trade from the Angels to the Angels. Just saying.
I mean, to be fair, there have been players who were traded for themselves at one point in baseball. And what I mean by that, a little baseball history, I think it was the Cubs. The Cubs traded for a catcher who was a player to be named later from the Indians, I believe. And the catcher was so bad that the Cubs traded him back to the Indians. Like, so the Indians traded a catcher who was a player to be named later, and then the Cubs traded him back to the Indians as the player who was named later. So, little fun fact if bar trivia ever comes up for you. But no, overall, I think it's a great move by the Angels. I think it was something that had to happen. If they would have went into 2026 still carrying this contract, I don't think that we could ever look at them seriously as a franchise. I mean, that's what I think. Giving a shout out to Joe Adell. Should also shout out Logan O'Hoppe, who is actually turning out to be a solid franchise catcher for them. And, they do have a couple pieces there to help build this team, but Art Moreno has to do right by the franchise and the fans and actually put more effort into this.
Murakami had a very good start to the 2025 season. He did not continue that, unfortunately. He had a very below average season because I want to say it was up until June. He was considered a top 5 catcher in baseball. I'm not saying anything but offensive, but he only finished with 19 homers and batted 213. At one point, he was considered like an elite bat for them.
Yeah, I
He fell
actually
off.
saw that now. That's a shame.
If Logan Hoppy ends the season with a negative point, listen, I'm not saying negative things about him. It's just this is someone who fell off and did not hit their goals, basically. So let's get back to kind of the end of our New Year's revolution. Jay, do you have a resolution about baseball?
My New Year's resolution is to not say this season is over after a loss in May. Like, I
You
I
did
can
that in
sit
April.
here.
You did that in April.
That I have found myself watching the Eagles this year, and I give the Eagles grace because I'm like, hey, you know what? There's always next week. There's 17, maybe 18 games in a season. Then you got playoffs, whatever. We could be like in the middle of April. They lose one game out of 162, and I am throwing in the towel. I'm ready to trade everybody. I need to at least start getting to August before I'm like, all right, dude, this season's cooked. If it's cooked. If we're sitting in first and we're like a couple games up, then, I'm remaining positive, but I need to stop giving up on the season in April, May, hell, even in spring training. I need to be a better fan. That's what I need to do. And I am hoping that the Phillies can get back to the postseason and praying to God that this team actually shows up this year. But Richie, what is your New Year's revolution, brother?
My New Year's revolution. God, I feel so stupid saying that. So I am going to give. I told you that it wasn't necessary to have one about yourself, but I'm going to have one about myself as well. I'm going to stay positive about myself this year. I'm going to stop looking for that chain link fence gate that's on the bridge that I can open and then go stand on the edge of the bridge when it comes to this goddamn team. I'm not like you where I'm in spring training and I'm like, Jesus, come on. Why is no one hitting the ball? I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to be that guy who is throwing in the towel, getting ready to commit arson to a brick stadium in June. I'm not going to be that guy because I've never been that guy. I've always been positive about this team. I've been positive about players. Oh, don't turn it around. The one thing that I want to be extremely positive about is this team's defense. It is not the best. It is not the worst. Are you kidding me? The year we went to the World Series, our defensive metrics were absolutely asinine. Kyle Schwarber was our starting left fielder. Bryce was our DH because Bryce's arm not working. Like
Come on, say it. No. You're forgetting somebody.
this is when Reese Hoskins was at first.
No. Someone else. Who was playing second? Come on, our boy.
Jimmy Siggs.
There you go.
Six, which I did see that you like to post from him,
Oh,
or you like to post about him
that,
today.
man.
You love
Yes,
Jimmy
I did.
Siggs more than you love yourself. You will give positive affirmations about him every goddamn day in the mirror before you even say, "Hey Jay, have a great day." You will say
I
Jimmy
just want
Siggs
the
is one of
best
the
for
best players
Gene
of all
Segura.
time. I know.
I'm forever grateful.
The post that you liked about Jimmy Siggs was The guy who called a 12-year career and went, I'm going to be okay. That's it. I'm just going to be an okay player for 12 years. And you were like, yes, heart react. Love that.
I think the reason that I've kind of hooked onto him was because of one thing that happened while he was in Philly. And before he came here, Gene Segura never made it to the playoffs. Like, he was on a bunch of
Correct.
teams, but he didn't reach the postseason. He came to Philly, played second, played short, and not only made it, but was on a World Series team. Like, he was a part of that run. And I think that's what made it so special, was that like this dude just played regular season games, wasn't reaching the postseason, came to Philly. Philly turned it up, made it to the World Series. Segura was there. The team had all the makings to do it, man. And it just, unfortunately, it didn't work out like we expected. And,
Unfortunately,
now that Gene's
we
hung
ran
it up,
into that stupid Astros machine.
it was brutal. But no, that's why I think I love Gene Segura, is that, you always see like any Philly that he played with posted on Instagram or any kind of social media. Gene Segura is always sharing their posts. Like when Bryson Stott puts up a picture, Gene Segura is always loving it. He's always commenting. Like the guy still has love for this team, and I still have a lot of love for him.
You mean like every other week when a new Phillies player is officially announcing they're going to have another child? And he's like,
Jesus
dude,
Christ,
that's
bro.
my boy.
Dude, Kyle loves the Phillies.
I don't think Gene Segura just loves the Phillies. He loves the fact that all of our players get laid and make babies.
I think
And
that may
honestly,
also
me
be a
too.
problem.
Good job, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
we got.
all the boys are having
Okay,
sex,
so
and
new resolution. Jay and I are going to officially pull together some money and send a bunch of condoms to the Phillies. And so you guys cannot do for this season. Stop. Stop. You guys just keep adding to your families and your stress. You guys need sleep. You guys need to rest. You guys need to play this sport. Just stop. Stop adding to your armies. What are you guys, all Philip Rivers? Come on. You don't need 17 kids.
I think the problem is, like, maybe you saw it, but I definitely saw it last year. Like, this team was not focused on having fun. Like, I didn't like the serious vibes that were coming from them. Like, it almost felt like we really need to focus on, doing it this year. And
The lack of
like,
daycare, the lack of bubblegum and seeds and water, celebrations. I get it. This game's about fun. Have it.
it's supposed to be fun. And I understand wanting to lock in, and you want to win the big one, but like, guys, it's a long season. Like you're allowed to relax. You're allowed to have fun. Winning is allowed to be fun. Like,
Yeah.
you're allowed to hit home runs and celebrate them. You don't need to just walk in the dugout, couple high fives, put your helmet up and sit down. Like, no, you can celebrate the small wins. Like, you don't only have to celebrate when you win a game, which is a couple high fives and then, drink a couple beers in the dugout. It's like, no, dude, like, it's a long season. Have fun. Take the losses in stride.
I would
Like,
love to see players drinking the dugout. Would love to see that. We talked about it before, where Kruk was telling us about that wonderful time, which happens multiple times. After the game, they would sit in the training room. Kruk would break out his 2 packs of cigarettes. Dutch would have, 30 towels at his feet and just go through a whole tin. And there would be several pitchers of beer that they would each drink a full pitcher plus more, leave at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then have a 1 o'clock game the next day. Listen, Bryce, I know you don't drink. I know you don't drink. Kyle is sponsored by Yards. Aaron Nola is sponsored by Yingling. Throw some back. Not you, Bryce. I don't care. I know it's for religious reasons that you don't drink. Good for you. Respect. Everyone else, get turned. Play a few games hungover. Get your asses dirty. Get angry. Get pissed off that you're playing hungover. Get back to the 90s style. I'm not telling anyone to start smoking. I'm not telling anyone to start dipping. Nah, you don't need to do that. There's different alternatives we could do now. I know you guys all like sins. Whatever. Nerds. Get back to drinking, man. I mean, that's what we do, and we do it well. Get back to drinking. You know what it does? You know what drinking does. Drinking brings us together.
Yeah, that's
Drinking
true.
makes us have more fun. I'm not saying everyone needs to drink to have fun. That's not what I'm saying here. All I'm saying is if teams in the majors started drinking like they were doing in the 90s, basically being angry stepdads, I think some would turn around. That might be the cure. Let this team be a bunch of weird stepdads where they're sitting there drinking in a locker room because they don't want to go home until 4:30 in the morning. Mark said it was one of the best times of his life. Can't argue with that. Jim,
There's a
John Kruk is one of the happiest people on the planet. The dude's had
there's
a
a
lot
major
of trauma
lack of
happen to him.
there's a major lack of camaraderie with the Phillies lately, and I feel like that needs to be a focal point for this year. Is that we need not only for the game to be fun again, but we need a pissed off Bryce Harper. If those two things happen, then there's no reason why this team cannot exceed expectations. That's where I stand,
Facts.
at least.
Listen, my 2 feet are right next to your 2 feet because that's where I'm standing too. Okay, do you have anything else to add for tonight?
Yes, I actually do. So, a little bit of breaking news. JS9 Innings on Instagram just posted that the Boston Red Sox have offered Alex Bregman a 5-year, $160 million contract per Marino_Pepin on, I'm assuming, Twitter. So that is the offer that just went out, which is very interesting. Like I said, I know
5
he
for
was pushing for
160?
6. 5 for 160, which pull up calculator real quick, see what that is.
32 mil a year.
All right.
32 mil a
So
year.
yeah,
Wow.
that is the current contract offer from Boston. Now whether or not Bregman takes it is another question in itself, but definitely something to keep an eye on. If you're following Infield Media on Instagram, we'll definitely post about the signing. But yeah, that is the latest on Alex Bregman. In terms of final thoughts, I do have one that is very fun, and I came across it today. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're about to find out. Rich, do you remember Alexi Ramirez, former baseball player, most notably for the Chicago White Sox?
Yeah, shortstop.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Alexi Ramirez is on Cuba's preliminary roster for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Now, what makes this so interesting is that Alexi Ramirez is 44 currently, spent 9 seasons in the majors, and he was a part of the inaugural World Baseball Classic in 2006 in Puerto Rico at the age of 24. So he would come back to the tournament 20 years later at the age of 44. And like I said, Alexi Ramirez has been out of the Major League Baseball for, Christ, what
6 years?
feels like. Alexi Ramirez has been out of Major League Baseball for just about
2018?
10 years. His last appearance, 2016. He last
Wow.
played for the Tampa Bay Rays in 2016. So, yeah, good to see Alexi Ramirez is back. I'm hoping he has a good showing in the World Baseball Classic. I feel like that would be fun if he actually does play. I mean, being 44, it's a little questionable to make the roster, but it
Last
would
time he
be
played was
super cool to
2016?
see. Yeah.
Wow. Wander Franco's girlfriend.
God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ugh. Wander Franco, girlfriend jokes don't age very well. Then again, Wander Franco's girlfriends don't age very well either. But yeah, shout out Alexi Ramirez making his possible return to the World Baseball Classic, and hopefully they allow him to play. If not, then it's at least good to hear his name again. That's super cool, and I'm hoping everything works out for him.
Good for him. Good for him.
Richie,
He used to have a bat.
what you got,
He was
brother?
a pretty solid bat.
Yeah, he was not bad
So
at all.
what I got is I am very pleased with, as you just mentioned, the World Baseball Classic for 2026. Team USA's roster. Because when I was in kindergarten, I brought a pack of crayons, and the only three colors that I brought were the only three colors that I needed, and that was red, white, and blue. So as of right now, I am only Team USA all the way for sports. Not a lot of other things. But sports, sure, absolutely. We have our tried and true captain. No argument here. Aaron Judge. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me anybody else is more deserving. I dare you. You can't. You got Judge. You got the best shortstop in the world in Bobby Witt Jr. You got another top five shortstop in the world playing third base, Connor Henderson. You got two of the fastest, most defensive minded outfielders in Corbin Carroll and PCA. A guy who I said was borderline MVP for the first half of 2025. You got Big Dumper, the best catcher in baseball last year, Cal Raleigh. You got the second best catcher, in my opinion, last year, Will Smith. And then you got Kyle Schwarber as your DH, Bryce Harper as your first baseman, and Bryce Terang, can't forget about him, a very, very good second baseman who has nothing but speed and piss and vinegar. He is just a nuisance in the best kind of way. But this is the first time that I can recall since the inaugural World Baseball Classic where Team USA is bringing its best pitchers. You're going to have a non-mustachioed Paul Skeens. I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I saw.
Livy Dunn rubbed it off. She worked that clean off his face. It's a lot of friction. Good for him. You got Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal, the lone bright spot on the Minnesota Twins, Joe Ryan, Clay Holmes, Matthew Boyd, automatically right there. That has beat the past three World Baseball Classic pitching rotations by far. I'm not sure if you remember. I may be wrong. The last World Baseball Classic, I think the Phillies, or not the Phillies, the Team USA's ace was Merrill Kelly.
I believe so, yeah. That sounds about right.
Oh, Merrill Kelly, great pitcher. Ace, a country?
Team USA,
Nah.
no. Some
You
would
have a
say far
very
from an
solid,
ace, actually.
yes, but you have a very good bullpen with an actual ace in the bullpen in Logan Webb. And you got Mason Miller, who's gotten 104 on the corners, Garrett Whitlock,
Insane.
and David Bednar. You know what that is telling me? In the 250th anniversary of United States of America, we are going to hoist the WBC championship.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. That's definitely a possibility.
It's a very,
But
very
if we're
good
being
possibility.
completely honest, I think that there is a very good chance that the Dominican Republic squad could give us a little bit of a challenge. I'm
Their
not saying that
not up to
I
our
don't
par.
have faith.
Just saying.
No, but that offense is something crazy.
Sure.
Now, I'm not saying Scubal's going to be bad, and I mean,
All I'm saying is, let's do it. This is America's time. We need to win at something. We're not winning at education or math or anything like that, especially below the Mason-Dixon line. Let's do it at baseball, and let's do it with this pitching. This rotation's just stupid. Like, I am so excited for it. The offense might be one of the best offenses we've ever put on display at the country. But
Yeah, you're not going to get a disagreement from me.
as I like to end every episode off with, this day in baseball history, as of January 2nd, 2025, Florida Panthers and some other NHL team played in Miami at the Marlins Stadium for the NHL Winter Classic. In 2011, the Rangers, oh, that's who played today. Who cares? It's a New York team. I don't care. But the New York Rangers defeated the Flyers, Philadelphia Flyers, at Citizens Bank Park in 2011. And in 2022, Fenway Park, where it was another outdoor hockey game. Cool. It's not that cool. It's not that cool anymore. Everything else is kind of just whatever. But we do have a couple really cool birthdays. So, in 1963, the year of my father, not Jesus, like my actual father, David Cohn, Edgar Martinez, both born January 2nd, 1963. And also, Jay, let's talk about a cool, immaculate grid name, Jeff Suppan in 1975.
Jeff Suppan, Jesus Christ. I haven't heard that
Yeah.
name in Christ years. Tell you what, know what name actually came up a couple of days ago when I was talking to somebody? And it kind of woke up the sleeper agent in me a little bit.
Oh, no.
You remember Jason Marquis?
Yes. Cardinal and Cub.
I don't know why. Yes. He came up in conversation and I was like, did you just say Jason Marquis? He's like, yeah. I was like, dude, I haven't heard that name in goddamn forever. And I looked and I was like, dude, Jason Marquis pitched in like 2015. I remember Jason Marquis last pitching for like Colorado. Turned out,
yeah,
he pitched in Colorado in 2009. And then the last 6 years of his career were just kind of a blur for me. And I was like, damn, dude. I was like, you talk about a name that just shocks you. That one got me. That one got me good.
Absolutely. That's a great name. So on that note, Jay, what do we usually like to do right about now?
Right about now, we like to thank everybody for tuning into this episode of Drunks on the Pond. You already know who it is. I'm Jay. That's Rich. Just once again, thank you everybody for tuning in, listening. We appreciate it oh so much. But Z, it is about that time, brother. I need you to hit that music because it's time to get the hell on out of here. Peace.